The courtroom was silent, the kind of silence that feels like a battlefield before the first shot. Every seat was filled. Officers in pressed uniforms, reporters scribbling notes, and civilians who couldn't look away. At the front, beneath the seal of the United States Navy, a woman stood at attention, wrists cuffed, posture unbroken. Lieutenant Commander Elena Cole, or so she claimed. Now, half the Pentagon said she wasn't who she said she was, that she'd faked her identity, stolen a uniform, and infiltrated classified missions under a false name. The prosecutor, a sharp man with cold eyes, circled her like a predator. Miss Cole, if that's even your name, you're accused of impersonating a Navy SEAL officer, wearing unearned insignia and a silver star that does not belong to you. Do you deny this? Elena's voice was quiet, steady. I don't deny wearing it, sir. A murmur rippled through the courtroom. So, you admit the charge? She met his stare. I admit to wearing the uniform, not to impersonating anyone. At the bench, Admiral Howard Briggs, the presiding judge, studied her carefully. He'd seen heroes, liars, and everything in between. But this woman didn't fit either. Proceed, he said evenly. The prosecutor clicked a button on the projector. Images filled the screen. Surveillance footage from a Middle Eastern airfield 3 months earlier. Elena was there, rifle in hand, moving with a SEAL unit during an active combat operation. These men, the prosecutor said, are members of Task Force Trident, Navy SEALs, all verified, and there, in the center, is the accused. She infiltrated an active mission, assumed command without authorization, and compromised classified objectives. The Admiral's eyes lifted. Lieutenant Cole, what do you have to say to that? Elena hesitated, then quietly. I didn't infiltrate, sir. I was ordered in. The courtroom exploded with noise. Order! Briggs shouted, slamming the gavel. When silence fell, his voice softened. By whom? Elena's gaze lowered. Her voice barely rose above a whisper. By Commander Jack Rains, Task Force Trident. The prosecutor's jaw tightened. Commander Rains was killed during that mission. Elena looked up. I know. 3 months earlier, northern Syria. The desert wind screamed as the convoy approached an abandoned refinery. Insurgent territory. Elena wasn't supposed to be there. She was a Navy medic, attached to a support unit 50 miles away. But war has a way of changing plans. The ambush hit them hard. Mortars, gunfire, chaos. Her transport overturned. When she crawled out, she saw them. A SEAL team pinned under fire. 2 men down, one calling for a medic. Hey, you, over here, a voice yelled. That was Rains. She sprinted through the dust, bullets slicing the air. She dropped beside the wounded, her hands working faster than thought. Rains kept firing over her shoulder. Name? He barked. Cole. Good. You ever lead men before, Cole? Not like this. He grinned grimly. You're about to. They fought for hours. When the dust cleared, Rains was gone, caught in the blast of a mortar round. Elena dragged the last 2 survivors back to the evac point herself, bleeding, exhausted, her medic's uniform torn to shreds. She wore Rains's vest, his insignia, his nameplate. When the helicopter lifted off, the pilot saw something he'd never forget. A blood-soaked woman leading SEALs out of hell. That's the photo that ended up in the reports. That's the impersonation. Back in court, the prosecutor scoffed. So you're saying Commander Rains ordered you to wear his uniform? Elena's voice wavered, but only slightly. I'm saying he made me promise. Promise what? She straightened her shoulders. To bring his men home. The room went dead silent. Admiral Briggs exhaled. There was something in her tone. Not defiance, not pride, just truth. Bring in Exhibit C, he ordered. A bailiff returned with a small black case. Inside lay the silver star. This medal, Briggs said, was found in your personal effects. You're aware wearing unauthorized decorations is a federal offense. Yes, sir. And yet you did? Her eyes glistened. I didn't wear it for me, sir. I wore it for the man who earned it, because he never made it home. The Admiral said nothing, but everyone saw the change in his face, the flicker of doubt in the system he'd sworn to uphold. That night, rain hammered the courthouse windows. Elena sat in a transport van, wrists still bound. The reflection that stared back wasn't the same woman who'd gone into Syria. 2 floors below the Pentagon, 3 men met in a dark conference room. A civilian in a gray suit, Deputy Director Hartman, read from a classified file. Cole, Elena, medic, unauthorized infiltration of Operation Black Mesa. Assisted Task Force Trident, no record of reassignment. A SEAL officer, Colonel Shepard, leaned back. She saved 2 of my men. If what's in that report is true, she might have saved more. Hartman frowned. She wasn't trained for combat. She wasn't even cleared for that theater. Shepard's voice was gravel. Neither was Rains by the end. Hours later, Shepard entered an interrogation room where Elena waited. He didn't carry a file, just quiet authority. "Cole," he said. "I knew Rains." She looked up sharply. "You were his CO." He nodded. "And now I'm the guy deciding whether you rot in a cell or disappear for good." Her lips curved faintly. "Guess that depends on which version of the story you've heard." He studied her. "Then tell me yours." She told him everything. The mission, the explosion, the crates marked with both Navy and CIA codes, the silence on the comms. "They told him to fall back," she said, "but Rains said something I'll never forget." "What?" She met his gaze. "They can erase the mission," he said, "not the men." Shepard sat quietly, then asked, "And that silver star?" Her eyes softened. "He pinned it on me before he went back for the last man. Said if I made it out, I'd know when to wear it." The next morning, Briggs sat in chambers when Shepard entered, carrying a case. Inside, the same silver star. "This medal was verified," Shepard said. "It's the one awarded posthumously to Commander Rains." Briggs frowned. "Then she forged nothing." Shepard shook his head. "She earned it." He placed another folder on the table. Operation Black Mesa, eyes only. Briggs read the report. Photos of destroyed medical crates, satellite images of an unlisted base, and a transmission log bearing Elena Cole's voice. He looked up, face pale. "This was buried." Shepard nodded. "So was she." The courtroom was packed the next day. Reporters whispered. Cameras rolled. Elena stood, no cuffs this time. Briggs adjusted his glasses. "This court has reviewed classified testimony and verified field reports provided by Colonel Shepard." He paused. "What I see here isn't the story of a fraud, but of a soldier who followed orders when those above her abandoned theirs." The prosecutor rose, flustered. "Your Honor, that's—" Briggs raised a hand. "Lieutenant Commander Cole acted under direct orders of Commander Jack Rains, U.S. Navy SEALs, deceased in combat. She did not impersonate him. She carried out his final command." He looked directly at Elena. "This tribunal finds the defendant not guilty." The courtroom erupted. Briggs struck the gavel once more. "And for the record, that medal she wears, it's authentic." That night, at Andrews Air Base, rain slicked the tarmac. Elena stepped into a hangar, wearing fatigues stripped of rank or insignia. Colonel Shepard waited beside a transport plane. "The court cleared me?" she asked. He nodded. "Officially, yes. Unofficially, you don't exist." He handed her a folder labeled Echo Recovery. Inside were photos of destroyed convoys, missing SEALs, and the word Black Mesa scribbled in red. "They're cleaning house," Shepard said. "Someone's covering tracks and killing the survivors." Elena scanned the list of names. 5 were crossed out. The 6th, hers. "Why me?" she asked quietly. He smirked. "Because everyone thinks you're a ghost, and sometimes ghosts get the job done." Judge Briggs sat alone in his office later that night, staring at a letter marked, "Open if she walks free." Inside was a photo, grainy satellite imagery of the same Syrian facility, still active. Below it, a note, "Justice doesn't end in court, Judge. It starts there." He folded the paper slowly. "God help them both," he muttered. "Oh, 600 hours. The engines roared. Elena sat by the window, staring at the dawn. Shepard leaned forward. "You ever wonder if we're still fighting the same war?" She smiled faintly. "Same war. Different ghosts." She looked down at the silver star, the light catching on the engraving. "For valor, Rains." "Rains would have hated all this," she said. Shepard nodded. "Rains believed in people. The rest of us just believe in missions." She turned her gaze to the horizon. Then, I'll make this one count. The plane touched down at an isolated NATO base. A man in civilian clothes greeted them, dark shades, unreadable smile. "Welcome to the other side, Commander." Elena hesitated. "I'm not a commander," he smirked. "You are today." He handed her a new ID card, tapped, E. Cole, Joint Special Operations. Under it, Operation Echo Recovery. She looked up at Shepard. "You said I disappeared." He nodded. "You did. But sometimes, disappearing is the only way to fight back." As they walked toward the waiting convoy, he said quietly, "For what it's worth, I checked Raines's final mission log." She stopped. "What did it say?" He met her eyes. "If I don't make it, she's in command." She took a deep breath, tucking the silver star under her collar. "For you, Raines," she whispered. The engines thundered again. The world thought she was gone. But some soldiers don't die. They just go dark. The courtroom froze when the judge looked at her and said, "That medal's authentic." They called her a fraud, a soldier who stole a SEAL's uniform. But when the truth surfaced, it changed everything. Captain Elena Cole wasn't an imposter. She was the medic who led Delta operators through hell when command abandoned them. She carried their wounded, their mission, and their fallen captain's last order. Now, the people who buried the truth are hunting her. Because Operation Black Mesa was never meant to be seen. Some medals come with ceremony, others come with silence. She didn't steal a uniform, she carried a promise. And when the world called her a fraud, one man said the words that changed everything. "That medal's authentic." If you're still with us, soldier, hit that subscribe button, because some stories remind the world, orders can't end, but duty never does.